All right, so let's go ahead and start with Genesis chapter 4. Go ahead, Nicole.
Can we read the whole thing?
Yeah, let's read the whole thing.
Now the man had relations with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. And she said, I have gotten a man child with the help of the Lord. Again she gave birth to his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of flocks, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So it came about in the course of time that Cain brought a sacrificing to the Lord of the fruit of the ground. Abel on his part also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel for his offering. But for Cain and for his offering he had no regard. So Cain became very angry, and his countenance fell. Then the Lord said to Cain, Why are you so angry, and why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, will not your countenance be lifted up? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it. Cain told Abel his brother. And it came about when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? He said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. Now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its strength for you. You will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is too great to bear. Behold, you have driven me this day from the face of the ground, and from your face I will be hidden. And I will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. So the Lord said to him, Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord appointed a sign for Cain, so that no one finding him would slay him. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain had relations with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to Enoch. And he built a city, and called the name of the city Enoch, after the name of his son. Now to Enoch was born Irad, and Irad became the father of Mehujael. And Mehujael became the father of Methuselah, and Methuselah became the father of Lamech. Lamech took to himself two wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other was Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all those who play the lyre and pipe. As for Zillah, she also gave birth to Tubal-Cain, the forger of all implements of bronze and iron, and the sister of Tubal-Cain was Nimrod. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, listen to my voice, you wives of Lamech. Give heed to my speech, for I have killed a man for wounding me, and have their offspring in place of Abel, for Cain killed him. To Seth, to him also a son was born, and he called his name Enoch. The men began to call upon the name of the Lord.
Okay. Starts off easy and then it ends in the genealogy. Right?
Yeah.
Well, everybody loves genealogies. And by everybody loves them, I mean everybody hates them.
There's some point to it, for sure.
There's a lot of points to it, but my overall plan is I want to hit the genealogies next week, primarily. Because we're going to have Adam's genealogy, we got Cain's genealogy, and then we got, the creation of the Nephilim all in one fell swoop.
So was this Enoch this Enoch here? Was he the same Enoch that got taken up or not?
No, that's that Enoch is Noah's grandfather. Yes, grandfather. So this is it gets confusing because they use the same names.
Yeah, because Methuselah's in there.
Yes, that's a different one.
That's a different Methuselah too.
Yes.
Hmm.
So unless they intertwined, but I'm very confident they did it. So let's just worry about the genealogies later.
All right.
But we'll start with, we got Cain and we got Abel. Are you aware that usually the names in the Bible have, especially the old names, have prophetic meaning?
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah,
always.
because that's why some of the names change when they become something different. Like
Jacob, Isaac.
right.
Sorry,
Israel.
Jacob, Israel. Yeah.
Israel, right? Jacob became Israel.
Abram became Abraham. Sarai
Because Jacob
became
was
Sarah.
a supplanter, and then when he became Israel, I forgot what the name of Israel. What was the meaning of Israel?
I want to say glory to the Lord or worship to the Lord, something along those lines. I don't
Yeah, because he
remember.
was a supplanter up to that point,
Correct.
which his name meant that.
Yeah. And that was one, it happened right after he wrestled with
So,
God.
what does Cain mean?
Cain means to create and to strike, but in the context of a musical instrument. And there's also part of that context is it's a sorrowful sound. So the name itself actually, it's got like three combined meanings.
Okay.
Created from God, or created in almost like created to strike, and also like a sad song, which is quite interesting because if you go back to Eve's curse, it says that in sorrow she's going to give birth to children because of the curse.
Yeah.
So our very first son has that context. Now Abel means like breath or vanity. So like, you know how there's like passages like all is just vanity, you know.
I was grasping for the wind.
Yes, it's that kind of context.
Oh, Abel?
Yeah, that's what Abel means. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because who was the first
Yeah.
person to die?
Cain killed Abel, right?
Yep. So Abel had a very short life. Maddie, shush.
She hears something.
You always hear something. You can be quiet.
She always hears something.
And Cain struck Abel to kill him.
Yeah.
And then if you jump ahead to Adam's next child, the one that replaces Abel, his name is Seth, which means substituted.
Oh, substitute for Abel.
Yes. And then Enoch actually means man, but in the sense that, you know, man is finite, man is weak compared to God. So interesting little story already developing there, right? Hidden right in these words, which
So when you name your kids, you should be careful of what you're naming, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Figure out what their meaning is. So
Probably
they
a good
don't
idea.
fulfill their destiny in a wrong way.
Yeah, we don't want that. So always something to consider when you're naming your child. Now, I don't think most of us are prophetic at the level these people were. So it probably isn't as bad, but probably a good idea. So we got them being born. Abel was a keeper of flocks, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. So Abel was a shepherd. Cain was growing a farmer. So Jesus is our shepherd. But if you think about Israel, the nation of Israel was always considered more of like a fig tree or something like that.
Like a farm.
Like a farm. Like a growing farm, not a animal farm.
Yeah.
So yet again, actually not again, we see the image of Israel isn't enough. It needs to be replaced, or it kills the shepherd.
Oh, just like in the beginning.
It's just very, just like in the beginning, just like what they did with Jesus. They're the ones who killed the good shepherd.
Yeah.
And people try and say that the Bible is made up. If you just say,
Well, I don't think there's any way to make up all this stuff that interlocks like that. It's not possible.
no,
Because they didn't have AI. I don't even think
Yeah.
AI could do it.
not to the level of detail, especially if you start applying cryptology to it. But that's a whole nother conversation and the whole big thick book that I
Well,
got.
to have different people write it.
Yeah, and it's
These weren't all
continuous.
written at the same time. They're all different. But yet, it flows from the beginning to the end.
One continuous story written by 40 different people.
Yeah. And all the predictions verify the truth of it.
Right. And it's very clear that, we know that the person who wrote Genesis is Moses. I'm pretty confident Moses didn't know that Israel was going, his descendants of Israel was going to kill the coming shepherd.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
maybe.
don't know. God talked to him. Maybe he did know.
I mean, maybe. Still, I mean, that still just proves again, like, okay, maybe he did know and he encoded it in here, but the stories of Jesus' death is thousands of years later.
Yeah.
Now that we went off in that rabbit trail, which I do love. So it came about in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to the Lord of fruit of the ground. Abel, on his part, brought of the firstlings of his flock and their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. What's the difference between these two?
Well, it seems to me like they made an emphasis of saying the firstlings, and with Cain, they just said his crop. So I'm taking that he didn't bring his best.
Yeah.
The first, because it should be like the first fruits, right? Didn't they offer as their offering was the first fruits?
Correct.
Even for the temple.
Even for the temple.
So yeah, he didn't really care. It sounds like he didn't really care about giving the Lord the best. He just gave him
whatever he had left, because he
Yeah.
probably should.
Yeah. Or maybe not even his best, and he kept that for himself. Who knows?
Right. He probably might have had a thought, I had to work a lot harder for this because I'm tilling the ground. My brother only had to follow around the sheep.
Yeah. Or maybe he didn't till his ground that good, that his crop was kind of a cruddy crop, or he didn't fertilize it, and it was kind of a cruddy, half whatever crop. And because God said to him, you can do better than this. If you do better, in other words, the quality control was not good.
Exactly. And this applies for us. We need to give our best to God, not what's left over.
Yeah.
Which can be very hard.
Fruits.
Yes. First
Yeah,
fruits.
really, it must be the first fruits, because I'm not a farmer, but the first fruits must be the best.
Yeah, like when you get up in the morning, pray and read the Bible and put them first.
Like first cutting hay and second cutting hay. Second cutting isn't as good as the first cutting. Everybody wants the first cut.
Yep.
Because it's green and tender. Second cutting is more dried out, but you're getting your second crop. So it must be, maybe it's like a relationship to that.
That would be.
He didn't give first crop. He didn't give his best.
He didn't give his best. He kept that for himself and gave the rest. Whereas, Abel gives his best. Specifically says his first fruits.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's any correlation between it being vegetables versus being
Right.
animals. I've heard people try and say that, but I'm like, that's kind of missing a big detail here. So I agree there. But now, what's the reaction? God accepts Abel's. And then God says, but for Cain and his offering, he had no regard. So Cain became very angry and his countenance fell.
What does that mean? That he got depressed?
Looked annoyed.
It's like one of the memes. Do you ever see the memes on Wii?
No.
1 minute they're like this, and then he's like,
Oh,
like that. His facial, his expression was, you didn't think my offering was too great, so
I'm mad.
oh.
It's
Yeah.
obviously your fault.
yeah.
You've ever raised a teenager.
It's kind of your expression on your face and your body and how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And he was obviously
He's pouting.
Oh, he was pouting and then he got angry. He had no anger management here.
Nope.
Yeah.
And he was a liar too, apparently, in this. So he did it. He was going right down the list.
He just, he starts off with, "Oh, I didn't try very hard."
Anger, jealousy, lying, lazy. He's not doing
Yeah.
good.
Nope. So what's that mean for us? Maybe we should make sure we're not lazy,
Right.
Yeah.
because that really kind of starts there. He's lazy, and he's probably lazy, and he definitely doesn't put God first. And then things keep happening. I know I've noticed in my life, when I stop putting God's first, all of a sudden things keep happening. And until you catch what's going on, you're like, why is this? What's going on? And
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, duh.
Yeah.
But what does God say to Cain when he notices?
Why has he gone still?
Verse 7.
Verse
7?
7.
Yes. Wait, sorry, verse 6 and verse 7.
Why are you angry and why is your conscience fallen?
Okay.
He likes to ask questions that he knows the answer to.
Who doesn't?
Because God wants to see what you're going to say. He always
Yeah.
asks you a question. He already knows the answer.
Yes.
But did you notice he always asks you the question?
Yeah, it's about relationships. So he just wants to do that.
Like when they're in the garden, they were naked, and he's like, "Who told you you were naked?" He's yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who told you you were naked?
Gives you a chance to come clean.
Yeah, he's giving you a chance to fess up, but most of the time they don't.
Yeah, and we always do. And then what's he say right after asking the question? Kind of answers his own question, verse 7.
Well, he's basically saying because if he didn't, what he was going through is going to cause him to sin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sin lieth at the door.
It's basically, you didn't do well. If you do well, it's gonna go well. So he gave him the fix. But if you don't, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it. So how would we master it?
Master
Didn't.
sin.
Yeah,
Um.
by doing well.
Mhm.
But he chose not to. He just chose to get rid of the competition. Rather than him change his behavior, he decided to get rid of what was in the way.
You almost have to wonder what was going through his head at this moment. Like, what was his explanation going to be to his parents on where Abel was?
I doubt if he thought about it because he probably did it in a fit of anger because he was an angry person.
Right. I mean, there's 4 people on the planet at this point, as far as we know. One of them dies, and animals at this point aren't killing people. That doesn't happen until after the flood. I don't know what happened to my brother. It's it's very, very poorly thought out. And God just talked to you. Like, obviously God knows everything that's going on. He's talking to you.
Yeah.
Like,
And God was still talking to people at that point.
yeah. It's just,
Well, he still talks to people, but it seemed more one-on-one, outright talking. And then it got more like talk to one person, and then he talks to everybody else, talk to the prophets, but not as much talking to the people, sort of. I don't know.
yeah, no, I agree. But at this point, he definitely was engaged pretty directly.
Yeah.
So Cain decided not to master it. He decided to let his emotions overtake him.
Mhm.
Instead of doubling down on, I'm going to do better, he doubles down on, it's obviously Abel's fault that he gave a good sacrifice and I didn't. Not quite sure how it's Abel's fault, but apparently it was.
Well, he didn't take responsibility for his problem.
Right.
He blamed somebody else, which happens all the time. People do not aren't accountable, they blame it on somebody else.
Yeah.
So and so, because of them, I failed.
Yeah.
Because of the way this happened, that's because that's why I am. Instead of just saying, "Yep, that's who I am. I guess I better change it," regardless of how you got there.
That's right. Clearly, it's my brother's fault that he gave a good sacrifice and is doing better than me. Obviously. So I'm going to strike him with a rock.
Yeah, because he
That sounds like a toddler.
Actually, he did that's another thing. He went on his emotions, so his emotions took over. So you can't trust your emotions because they're going to lead you into trouble.
Called the fit of passion.
Anger, jealousy,
Yeah.
all those things. You can't trust your emotions.
The heart is deceitful above all else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're already seeing the pattern. We saw the same kind of things happen with Adam and Eve. When,
Yeah, and they threw each other under the bus too.
Yep.
They tried, nobody was accountable. It was her fault. No, it was his fault, the snake. No, it was her fault. Nobody wanted to take responsibility. So that might be a big thing for us, is that instead of making excuses, just own it.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason.
I agree. Yeah.
So-and-so tripped me. Well, maybe I shouldn't have been hanging around with so-and-so.
Right. There's all kinds of things. Maybe I should have been paying closer to attention when I got a message or, whatever. You make choices. Unless somebody physically forces you to do something, then you're responsible for what you did.
Right. Well, then that's a different thing. These people are all making decisions. They're not being, murdered or assaulted or robbed or anything like that. It's like they chose to do these things, and that's one, but they chose not to be accountable because of their own actions.
Yeah. And that is really, that's the thing. Put God first. Don't trust your emotions. Be accountable, and you're probably going to master your sin. Will you still struggle with it? Yes, but you can eventually learn to control it.
Yeah, because your flesh wants to be angry. It wants to be, jealous. It wants to do all these things because now you've got that seed in you.
Yep.
You let the door in.
That's right.
Left the door open.
I always do find it quite interesting. It starts off with two people who are perfect. They mess up. They have a son, and he becomes a murderer. Does not take long for human race to show their true colors.
Yeah.
No, because I guess that really was the seed then. The seed that the devil planted in a way was sin.
Yep. Knowing good and evil.
It's passed down because God said none of us are without sin.
Was it a, what do you call it when it's generational curse?
Yeah.
It's a permanent generational curse on the human race until Jesus comes back and redeems us all.
Jesus was the only one to break the curse. In
Correct.
that respect, is that you've got compensation eventually.
Yeah. He bought us out of the bondage of sin. He paid the price to break us free of the slavery that we sold ourselves into.
Yeah, basically, in a way, our DNA was polluted at that point.
Yep.
It's like embedded in you now.
Well, you can't get away from it. I mean,
you won't until you can do the best you can.
Right.
Only with God's help, the Holy Spirit.
And you've had kids. Everyone here's had kids. Your little baby is 6 months old. It's developed cries that it knows gets certain things. And then when it wants attention, it starts crying those fake ones. It's already lying at 6 months old.
Right. Right. It's in the It's in the DNA. Just like he put in the DNA that we know that we need we need something spiritually. It's in our DNA.
Yep.
We know that even if they say they're an atheist, they're not really. There's that longing for a creator.
Yeah, or they believe in this high-level mathematical thing that magically happened. There's a faith there too.
Right.
odds are the
The
things.
religion of disbelief.
Yeah, it's still a religion.
Yeah. Join my religion of disbelief.
The odds of this happening on accident is actually less than the odds of there being a creator.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, they've pretty much proven that's impossible.
Oh,
Whether they want to, they're still pushing the old narrative, but the more that we've evolved in the, AI and all these computers, and the more they find, the more it proves
yep.
that there's a creator.
Yeah. If you make AI actually read through the Bible and analyze the patterns in it, it will say, yeah, there was a creator and it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
You might have to force it to admit it because it doesn't like to, but you can get it to do it when it finally accepts it. It's studied it enough. All right. So Cain. So Cain told Abel his brother. So Cain told Abel his brother about this discussion. I wonder what that conversation
I
was.
don't know. What is that? Cain talked with Abel, his brother.
Must have been about what he just happened, about how his thing wasn't taken. And then they're both working in the same field right afterwards.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like Cain has a bit of a plan here. And Abel completely doesn't think about it. Which I can't say I blame them. I don't think, murder hasn't happened yet, so.
So he killed him with a rock?
Yep. And it came about when they were in the field that Cain rose up against his brother and killed
Maybe
him.
they were discussing their offerings, and then it ticked him off. You know what I mean? Like Abel's like, well, I did give a better offering, and seems like whatever. As I said, he checked with his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field, and that's when he killed him.
Yes. So it's interesting. I don't think I ever realized that. It doesn't say how he killed him in that passage.
I think he killed him with a rock for some reason.
That's what I've always heard, and there's a note in here of 1 John.
Doesn't really say he killed him with a rock, does it?
1 John 3.
I don't think they had weapons.
Oh, no, that
Because
wasn't.
they weren't killing animals, so I don't know.
Where is 1 John? Let's see. I know tradition says it at very least, but I think Peter.
I don't know. He could have strangled him.
His blood cries out from the ground, so that kind of implies.
Well, he had to like if you hit him with a rock, his head would bleed.
Yeah.
Or he had to have a knife
I mean,
because there was blood. They didn't have guns. It's got to be a knife or a club or a rock or a tree branch. Whack.
Okay. Well, I know it's all. I've always heard he struck him with a rock. I wonder.
You're right. It doesn't say anything about it.
It's probably in one of the Dudecanon, or the other books that
The history or the
like Jubilees or one of those. It's probably where it is, which we're going to be discussing those a bunch probably next week. So, anyways, kills him, the blood spilling out, and then God shows up and says, "Where is Abel, your brother?"
He knows where he is.
Think about Cain's response.
What did he say?
I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? That's kind of.
That's
pretty
ballsy.
sarcastic. I'm surprised God didn't whack him one for that. Whack right across the mouth. Oh yeah, you're speaking back to me.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty mouthy.
That's very mouthy. I mean, again, we've raised
And you
kids.
should hear a kid saying that. What am I? My brother's keeper?
Yeah. I don't know where my brother
Just whacked him in the head with a rock. So what?
and buried him in the ground.
Yeah.
What do you mean, where is he? I don't know. Don't look over there.
He's in heaven now.
Does he have blood all over him too still? Like
Yeah.
goes to show that us humans, we have not changed in thousands and thousands of years. And then he says, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground." Again, I don't know why these people are lying to God.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're not very bright.
thou shalt not lie.
They were early on learning anything, I guess.
I guess. And the voice is crying out to me from the ground. Now, interesting, speaking of the Deuterocanon and stuff, there's a book called the Book of Adam. Or, I think it's, no, the story of Adam and Eve, which goes into some more detail about this and how Adam and Eve died. It's not canon, so it's not inspired. I'm not even sure how. I think the Jews thought it was pretty important. They read it in the first century, so they would know this. But apparently, according to that book, the ground, you couldn't bury a body in the ground until after Adam died. So Cain tried to bury the body, and then that came up to the surface. Take it for what it is from that story. It's not canon, so I'm not saying it's true.
Right.
It is from first century time period, or actually Second Temple, so pre-Jesus most likely. They tried to bury the body, and the body just pushed it back up to the surface, which I think is just an even funnier picture. Like, he's like, God, you don't know where it is. They turned around, the body's flowing back up.
So really, Abel was the first sacrifice.
Yes.
Abel was?
He was the first human sacrifice.
Oh.
And he was, the ground's crying out, which didn't Jesus say? I think it was Jesus who said this, that the earth is crying out for redemption.
Oh.
Was he possibly referencing this? Probably.
Well, throughout the Bible, everything's about the blood. So
Right. Blood is symbolic of life in the Bible. That's why we're not supposed to drink it.
Now, the forensics they do with the blood does cry out from the ground and says what happened. They can get it from the DNA, the blood.
Yep.
Tells a story.
It does. Tells a big story. And, is that a figure of speech that God was using or not?
Which part?
That ground is crying out. Hence, maybe God can communicate with the earth. I mean, he is God.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say for sure either way, but it could just be poetic language.
I don't know. The voice of the brother's blood.
Okay, so the voice of the blood is crying out. So, I mean, you have to assume that God noticed Abel's soul going to
Well, I mean, if your spirit leaves you after you die,
it's got to go somewhere.
it'd be more like the spirit would have cried out because he would have known right away.
Mm-hmm. And that went to, assumably, Abraham's bosom, as the Jews called it, although it probably wasn't called that then. But so how did God know? Well, God knows everything. What's he mean by this? Is a figure of speech possible? Is it giving us more insight in the actual spiritual realm? Also possible. I'll let you guys decide.
I think it's just basically saying, like a forensic detective that was going there, look, I see your brother's blood. It gives witness to the fact that you killed him.
That's perfectly reasonable explanation.
And that's just how he wrote it.
That works for me. Okay, so now comes the punishment to Cain.
Yeah.
Now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand.
So he cursed him?
The ground, now he's cursed from the ground. Now the ground, when you cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its strength to you. AK, sorry, you can't farm anymore. You will be a vagrant and a wanderer on earth.
Does that mean he left him?
That means that Cain now has to wander the earth like a nomad.
Yeah.
He's the first nomad. But what's interesting here, can somebody read verse 17?
17.
Yes, I'm jumping ahead here.
And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and
Yep.
bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch.
So wait a second. He was supposed to be a vagrant.
Right, so there had to be people on earth. There had to be other people.
Yes, but it also is disobeying God. God said you're supposed to be wandering everywhere. And Cain's like, oh, well, I have a son. I'm going to build a city. I refuse to listen.
Now what did God do about it?
Nothing at that point.
Nothing.
I mean, eventually, there's what he does eventually is a different conversation. But right now, God doesn't instantly punish him. I always found that interesting. And yes, why did he build a city? Where did his wife come from?
Did, right?
Yes. Why did Cain build a city? Where did he get enough people for a city? Where did his wife come from? Argument for there being people already there is pretty decent.
Yeah, I think that maybe the people were created and God had Adam and Eve as his own people.
There are a lot of theologians that
Because he had them in a garden. Now he's in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two different worlds. There was the earth and the garden. And so the earth obviously must have had some people they created, because they went from being in that garden, self-contained garden with everything that's perfect, to the reality of this world.
Yeah, it's a completely reasonable conclusion to come from, which goes completely against anything you ever hear. But
why would they kick them out? Obviously, they weren't in the whole world, because they would have had nowhere to kick them out to.
Right. So that's one explanation. The other explanation is that these are, because they lived such a long time, we don't know how long it took for Cain to get his wife, which assumably is a child of Adam and Eve.
And do we even know where the garden was? Was it on Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
It was on Earth. It was a location.
Because the rivers. That's right. It was on Earth, because it had a location not far from Jerusalem, somewhere probably.
Somewhere in that region for sure. And I mean, after the flood, we're never going to find it. But that's where heaven and earth met. So is it possible there are other people on the planet? Yes. Does our fossil record indicate this? Yes. So is that acceptable explanation? I'm inclined to agree. Is it entirely possible that it was just Adam and Eve had a bunch of kids, and for whatever reason, one of their daughters decided that she liked the guy who killed her older brother? I've been around enough women in my life to know that's entirely possible too.
Who even knows? Maybe after he was banished onto the earth, that God created these people for him to be with somebody. Who knows?
I mean, there's all kinds.
We don't know.
We don't know. But I do like to expand my mind into the other possibilities here.
But somebody was going to slay him, so there had to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Right, because at this point, it's just his parents and him. What do you think? Is Adam's going to kill him?
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. It says he's driven him out from the face of the earth.
Yeah, from everywhere else, and now he can't plant gardens anymore.
He's driven out from the face of the earth, so he's become a fugitive in the earth.
Mm-hmm. Seems pretty dramatic for there only being two other people on the earth at the time. Just saying.
So whoever was out there on that earth wasn't very nice, because they obviously were going to kill him.
I mean, at least
They
that's
must
his
have been
opinion.
hostile.
That's,
Hostile.
yeah, that's his
They
opinion.
weren't friendly. They were without God.
Yes. So,
It looks like God really didn't have anything to do with them.
Yeah.
Those hostile people. I don't know.
so it's the
It's a
questions
mystery.
exist. It definitely exists. If somebody wants to tell me that they believe that there's other people, I'm gonna be like, okay,
I
Bible
don't know.
supports
What do
it.
you think?
I personally am more inclined to believe there's other people than not. But the fact that they lived like 1,000 years makes me go, well, maybe it really isn't what we're seeing here. And they're just kind of skipping ahead.
That could be because they do skip look from Jesus from a baby to 33 years old. So that they just felt whatever was important at that point.
Right.
And maybe they probably understood it because they were there.
Right.
So they knew what was going on, but it wasn't written down that way.
Right. And writing was super expensive back then too. So
Oh, it was?
oh yeah.
Because they had to write on tablets.
We either had to write on clay
So he's
and then bake it,
cursed to wander the earth.
or papyrus and stuff, or animal skins. Like a Bible in like the Bible that we have in the first century would have cost like, I think I read somewhere like something like $75,000.
But the king said that his punishment was greater than he could bear.
Yeah.
Somehow he did bear it.
I mean, yeah, he said it's too great to bear. Now, at the same time, we obviously know Cain's a slave to his emotions and a bit of a drama queen.
He's driven out from God's face. Maybe that's what he couldn't bear. Because, like, total separation from God, because that's like hell.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
The worst thing that can happen to you is be taken from the face of God.
Yep. That's probably what he's really most upset about. And he's just kind of giving excuses.
Yeah.
And everyone that finds him shall slay him.
That's what he's saying. So it's one thing to remember is when there's quotes in here, you got to figure out with the speaker how much you trust what they're saying. Is Cain just being a drama queen?
Yeah.
Possibly. Is Cain actually truly afraid, or is he trying to get God to be like, okay, I'll relent. It's not that bad. I mean, you have to wonder how great of parents Adam and Eve were. I mean, we all mess up our first kid, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't have grandparents to
It's
ask.
called the learning curve.
Yeah, they had no grandparents. They had no childhood of their own to fall back on. So,
Right.
I mean,
Definitely an experimental child.
yeah. So could that be part of it? And he just knows that he's used to manipulating mom and dad, so he's going to try and manipulate God. Also a possible explanation. Again, the text doesn't explain, and as far as I've read in the other, apocryphal books, there's no explanation here.
Yeah, there's other people, so those people had to be there. And it couldn't from Adam and Eve.
Yeah, I mean, there's other people there.
Because there's already other people.
Yeah. Unless he's saying that there's going to be other people. But that's whatever interpretation you take, you got to read into the text to find it.
No, it's all one sentence. He's a vagabond, and it came to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. So that's when God put the mark on him. So he got the mark on him when he went out into the wilderness to wander around.
Yep.
Out into the earth.
And
so there had to be people there for whatever reason. That I think Adam and Eve were the special people, and they messed up. Just like Israel is the special people, the special land. It's the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing, and it follows.
Was there other people? Yeah, it was all the other people that he had to take out in the flood that were bad, and then he took Israel, the special people.
Yep.
and then they messed up, and then they went for the. So yeah, they're probably those two were special.
For that much, you could 100% say for sure they were special.
And he had a special place for them because the other ones obviously must have known sin.
Yeah.
Or willing to kill him.
Or, it does say in the New Testament that it does say the whole world is cursed because of Adam's sin. So that all of a sudden, all the other people become evil when Adam sinned. That's when sin entered the world. Could it be that, before Adam and Eve, there was no soul? Humans were more of these other people were soulless. And it wasn't until they made it with a true Homo sapien that their children got souls. I mean, these are all valid theories. Do I have the answer? No.
No, but someday when you go see God, you can ask him, hey, can you fill in these gaps? I know that we don't need to read this anymore, but we would like to. So, what does that mean?
We get 7 years from my
Well, you
belief.
can ask Jesus.
Yeah, my belief is each person has their own chamber, and Jesus is in all of them with them, and you can spend 7 years asking questions and talking.
I can't wait.
Which is, what's really kind of funny, when they found out that Jesus was the Son of God, they never asked him any of those questions about the Old Testament. See? I mean, they had God.
Yeah.
Must be when you're around him, you're not thinking about anything else but him. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes it's mind blowing to me. Although it does seem like Paul asked a lot of questions like this when he was talking to Jesus in the wilderness, supposedly. According to tradition, that's what he went and did because he seems to have a lot of knowledge of this sort of stuff. So you have to wonder, did he actually ask these questions and get clarification? And all the other disciples just never thought of it? Interesting questions for this thing.
What's next?
So then the Lord said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on himself sevenfold. And the Lord appointed a sign for Cain, so that no one finding him would slay him. So God, even still, on the first murderer, has mercy. And not only is he a murderer, he kills his brother.
Yeah. But God's always said all along, vengeance is mine.
Correct.
So
there you go.
He wasn't going to let somebody else do what he would do.
That's right. And we can discuss how he dies. Well, we might get to that today. That's a whole fun conversation as well. But so no one finding him would slay him. So basically, there's going to be vengeance from God if you do it. It's going to be 7 times worse punishment from God if you kill Cain. And then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden, and goes out. So, wow, what is really going right
well,
through
he
this?
probably built a city because he was no longer a farmer.
Yeah.
So he had some kind of commerce going on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he made his living.
Yeah.
The other people did farming and stuff probably. Went out into the country and sold their goods to the people in the city.
Yep. But he's still disobeying God in this. So then he has Enoch with his wife. Then to Enoch was born Irad, who became the father of Mehujael. And Mehujael became the father of Methushael. And Methushael became the father of Lamech. Lamech took to himself 2 wives. Wow, it didn't take very long. How many generations before we started having multiple wives?
Well, they weren't under God. These people weren't really under God's line anyways.
You're right.
They were the outlanders there.
Yep.
Yeah.
They weren't under any kind of law.
That's right. So just kind of
Right?
Yep. Nope. You're completely right. These are the ones. They're Cain's descendants.
These are the bad guys.
These are the bad guys.
The not of God people.
That's right. Because the remnant is Seth, which we hear about in verse 25. The replacement. So these are the ones who are living even more in sin and rebellion.
These will be the enemy of God. So that's going to create the whole line of the enemy of God.
That's right.
Those are the children of Satan.
These are the children of Satan, correct?
Because from that temptation, he brought that upon them.
Mm-hmm.
So really, that's his seed right there. They are his seed.
I mean, just like the Pharisees were the sons of the devil.
Yeah.
They're
the bad seeds.
Yes, they're bad seeds. If you're an act to open a rebellion to God, you're a bad seed. You have two choices: either you're a son of God or you're a son of
good seed. Which side are you going to be on?
There's no in between. You can't ride the fence.
No, black or white. That's why he doesn't like lukewarm.
Right. That's right.
Because you're not either one or the other. You're neither.
Mm-hmm.
You're nothing.
That's right. Absolutely nothing. And that means that you're a bad seed, because our natural state is rebellion. Unless we're taking steps to live in God's word or live in line with God, we are living in rebellion just by the result of the fall. And then we get some interesting things with the children. So we got Ada, who gives birth to Jabal, who is the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. So the wanderers, the nomads, come from those people would come from there. But why are we notating this if everyone died in the flood?
What did you say?
Why are we finding out who the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock was?
They're going to probably be the tribes that they're always fighting with and always coming to try to get them.
Well, I thought everyone was killed.
What?
I thought that whole world was wiped out with the flood.
The whole world was what?
Wiped out with the flood.
We haven't gotten to the flood yet.
Yeah, but we don't really hear much about. I mean, the flood's only like a couple chapters away.
Right. These are the people that are going to get wiped out because they were so wicked.
So why do we care?
I don't know. There's a mystery there. There's some reason for you to care.
Yes, and that's going to be
So,
part of next week.
well, I don't know, because Seth, one of these kids from Adam is going to marry one of these women, probably, and that's going to be the problem. Which will create that.
That's one theory.
That bad tribe.
That's one theory for sure.
It's got the enemies of God.
Then the Nephilim.
I don't know. What's the you've researched it. What do you think?
So we'll talk about it briefly. We're going to dive significantly more in depth next week on this topic.
The cattlemen.